Hello, Rise of Kingdoms players, this is Gosu. I am doing you guys a huge favor by explaining the concept of damage boost versus flat damage increase. This is very poorly understood by the community. Even the Krakens and whales who spend hundreds of thousands of dollars do not understand this concept and just go for the shiniest things brainlessly, talking about you Lambo, no offense. I will break it down easily with minimal math. Let's get down to the basics. All damage is like the name says, all damage. It affects all different kinds of damage types including skill and normal damage. For purpose of making math easier, we can also assume that skill damage and normal damage have 100 flat stats each at the base. Hope this is easy to understand. I want to now explain what the flat damage increase is. If we have 100 base stats for skill and normal damage as I explained on the previous slide, flat damage percentage increase is just an additive stat to your base 100 stats. Key word is additive. Examples of flat damage increase are below. It is universally seen in the game, such as commander skills, armament stats, and many inscriptions. So, let's take an example of what this means. Look at the YSG sports skill on the bottom left. You have 50% flat skill damage increase. Assuming you have 100 base skill damage stats, you now have 150 skill damage stats. These effects add on to the base stats, assuming you have 100 of base damage stats. If you look at the bottom right with armament providing 1.9% all damage stats, it increases both flat normal and skill damage by 1.9. Now you have 101.9 skill and normal damage stats. Now we look at more exclusive and overpower stat. It is a damage boost mechanism. Damage boost, unlike flat damage increase, has a multiplicative effect. Examples of boost is below. Notice that all the boost mechanics have word boost in the description. Since it is a multiplicative effect, it is much more powerful effect. So, you may be asking, how does this really work? Let's take an example. Let's say you have these two effects for your march. Assuming you have 100 base skill damage stats, if YSG's fourth skill gives 50% additional flat skill damage stats, you now have total of 150 flat skill damage stats. On top of that, you have Intrepid Special Inscription which gives 10% boost to the skill damage dealt. Now you are boosting, or multiplying, the now total of 150 flat skill damage stat by 10% equals 15% skill damage increase. You can see that 10% boost resulted in 15% increase in skill damage. In conclusion, boost stat is the most premium stat you can have in Rise of Kingdoms. Boost stats however are very rare to find. I found them in Legendary Inscriptions and Weapon Iconic 5. Not many players understand this mechanism. If you now understand, you should also now understand how far ahead whales can get. This further proves that you should not run marches that are not well prepared to face these kinds of upgraded gears, meaning you should strive to field a smaller number of marches that are better geared.